Hey everybody, I'm Kat, and this is my channel called Second Act Kat RN. As the name implies, I am a registered nurse. I'm also a 64-year-old registered nurse, and I had recently found that I was without a job unexpectedly about 3.5 years ago after some work-related injuries, an accident that I had at work. So I started this channel in the hopes of helping people who have been in a situation like mine and you feel like you're kind of stuck trying to navigate where you're going to go in life and what you're going to do. You know, as an older nurse, it's hard to get hired at these positions because there is a sense of ageism. And even though you're a well-seasoned nurse and you know your stuff and you've worked in many different areas of nursing, it's still difficult because you start to doubt yourself. You know, if you're fired from a position, it kind of messes with your mind. It makes you feel like you're not good enough and who's going to hire you, especially being older. Like I said, there is ageism. In the medical field, they do discriminate against older nurses, especially females. And I've experienced that. I've been skipped over for positions, even though I was highly qualified. So I'm kind of floundering right now, trying to figure out which direction I need to go. I had a bad fall at work about 3.5 years ago and sustained a lot of injuries. I had a brain injury, which has affected my vision. I've got some nerve issues with my vision, so my eyes aren't working the way that they should, which keeps my brain very active trying to understand what my eyes are seeing. So I have a lot of fatigue because of that. I also did some damage to my spine and my neck and my ears, so I still struggle with a lot of pain and a lot of issues from that. There are a host of issues. I still am under the care of workers' comp providers, and I don't know how long that's going to go. You know, it's been going on for 3.5 years. So, but as far as being let go from my position, from a job that I really thoroughly enjoyed, I found that it was a wrongful termination, and I was able to find an attorney to be able to file a lawsuit against this company for the wrongful termination. And we did go to mediation about a year after the firing, and everything has been settled out. But that still put me in a position of having to find work that I could do with my limitations. I have a difficult time working a 12-hour shift, even an 8-hour shift, even a 4-hour shift because of the fatigue and the pain and the issues with my vision. So I'm kind of stuck, I feel like, in this in-between where do I find a job that can accommodate, are there jobs that would accommodate my needs based on these issues? Or do I need to go the route of being self-employed? I did go that route before I was wrongfully terminated, but after I fell, because I saw some changes coming down the pike at the job I was at. They were treating me differently after my injuries, and I was on light duty. So I started planning, I opened an IV hydration clinic. So I did transition to that. Once they fired me, I transitioned to that close to full time. And eventually, with the vision issues, I had to close that business, but it also was a very expensive business to have, especially as just an individual. I didn't have the income from the business to hire additional nurses to help me, but I was also going to a lot of physical therapy, different therapies, vestibular therapy, speech therapy after the injury. So that took a lot of my time. I could not devote full time to my office. And so I eventually, after about 2 years, I closed my office. That was a very difficult decision to make. And again, it made me feel like a failure because I had no control over the issues at hand I had to just work around them, which meant I had to cut back on my hours I was in my office. So what I've decided to do is help other people who are going through the same thing that I went through and you didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I had to work on my second act. I had to pull myself up by my bootstraps, literally get up off the floor after the fall and go forward. I mean, you can't stop living life. So I had to make a decision, to do some little part-time jobs here and there if I could, while I'm working on trying to be self-employed again. I feel like if I'm working for an employer, I am just another warm body for an employer. Depends on the bottom line. They don't think twice about letting you go to save money. When you're self-employed, there is the stress of wondering where work's going to come from, but there's also that sense of you're in control. And if business is slow, you've got to pick up the pace and try to get business ramped up. So even though there's that scary part where you don't know if you're going to be making any money with your self-employed business, there's that satisfaction and the comfort in knowing that somebody can't fire you because you are your boss. I'm not going to fire myself. So I decided I'm going to try to help people and advocate for patients who get out of the hospital, who need assistance with understanding the healthcare system and understanding medical bills, understanding their needs as maybe a patient with a terminal diagnosis or some kind of medical diagnosis that they know nothing about. There are a lot of medications involved with these patients, so medication education is really important. So I've decided to try to go that route along with helping you guys to see what options you might have. Now, many of the things I've done in the past really were my second act, my third act, my fourth act. But for the sake of, changing from what I've done in the past to what I'm going to do in the future, I'm calling it my second act. So I have also in the past been a licensed massage therapist. I was a fitness instructor and a personal trainer. And this is in the way past. These days are long gone. And I also worked as a secretary many, many, many years ago. I've worked in the restaurant business as management back out of high school. So I've had a lot of experience in a lot of things, but nursing seems to be what comes naturally for me, educating patients and just taking care of people. So I want to be able to offer my guidance and my experience and the things that I've gone through. I've gone through many disappointments. I struggled financially after being fired from that position, that nursing position. And I've had to take the bull by the horns and try to get myself to a place where I can sustain my life and be happy about it. So I really want input from you guys. I'd love for you to put comments down below and let me know, are you facing any of these situations like being unemployed or being fired, not being able to find a job due to age discrimination as an older nurse, and just in general, what you've done to conquer those issues? Did you go the route of self-employment or did you go part-time, PRN, full-time? What made you decide to do what you chose to do? Did you do it for the money or did you do it for financially destitute to where you've got to make some money? I've done that and I've had to kind of buckle down and figure out what I can do to make some money quickly. So I just wanted to hop on here, let you know who I am, and introduce my channel. And I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe. So if you have any comments or questions, please drop them below. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I look forward to talking more about everything. So this is Kat with Second Act Kat RN.